Hello and welcome to the June 30th, 2022 special meeting of City Council. Tonight we are considering two financial orders. This being a special meeting, we will not be doing public comment. I think it'll become evident as to why we are holding this special meeting for these financial orders and why we're going about business in this way. So once we start discussing things, Laura, could you take the roll call, please?
Sure. Councillor Elkins.
Here.
Councillor Foster.
Here.
Councillor Gore.
Here.
Councillor Jarrett, not present. Councillor Labarge.
Here.
Councillor Maori. Don't see her. Councillor Moulton.
Here.
Councillor Nash.
Here.
And Councillor Perry.
Here.
Council President, you have a quorum.
That is wonderful. So we can vote on these orders. I need to announce that this meeting is being audio and video recorded. And we have two financial orders here. We have Finance Director Nardi here to speak to these things. Oh, what is this doing here? And I think I'm pulling up the first document. Okay, we have item 22.139 in order to reprogram $100,000 to JFK Energy Management System upgrades. Director Nardi, would you like to speak to this?
Yes, first I'd like to thank all of you for taking time at last minute out of your day to consider these two orders. I realize that none of us expected to have another meeting, so I do appreciate your flexibility in scheduling the meeting and showing up. Thank you so very much. So this order is for the JFK Energy Management System upgrades, and this project has been ongoing for about 5 years. We are at phase 5. Actually, this will be the 5th year. It relates to the city's goal of the city's buildings being net carbon neutral by 2030. Over the last 4 years, we have been giving 100,000 or up to 150,000 each year to do each phase of the upgrade. This includes things such as we're upgrading the Johnson controls, which includes software, compute components, radiator valves, heating coils, that kind of thing. So each year we're doing a little bit. So as you all know, costs have almost doubled with all of our projects. The bid came in and we had expected $100,000, and Director McCarthy said that bids have come in almost double that. So he is requesting another $100,000. Him and Supervisor, I'm sorry, I'm going to pronounce Tony's name incorrectly, so I'm not even going to try, identified the lift money that was put aside for the Leeds lift in 2022. That project is put on hold as they investigate how best to address that issue. And therefore, in order to make the project go forward, they've identified that money as being available for this summer so we can make this project go forward. As I noted in my email to all of you, the mayor realizes this is really important, that the project that we're taking the money from is not going to be forgotten, that we're going to continue to investigate and find a permanent solution for that.
And this, Director Nardi, this is for a project that we've already approved through the capital improvement plan, that this is just reprogramming some existing funds so that we can make that particular project move forward.
Correct. You awarded or appropriated $100,000 for this phase 5 project back in March. This is an additional $100,000 that we need after we've gone out to bid.
Thank you. Councilors, do you have any other questions for Director Nardi? Councilor Moulton.
Yes, thank you. The memo that you distributed today, Director Nardi, about the Leeds lift was helpful. Do you know though who's not being served or what's not being done by this because this lift has been inoperable for 5
So
years?
my understanding is every time they've needed a lift, I'm assuming they use the stage for assemblies, or if they need that accessibility, they have rented a ramp. My understanding, the last 5 years, they have needed to do that 2 times.
Okay,
The mayor is concerned that renting doesn't allow for the spontaneity of using that for a student. So she really has asked them to look for a solution that maybe the NPS owns a ramp, so it's available anytime, and it doesn't need to be planned quite so, it allows them to not have to plan it so far ahead. So my understanding is the 2 times it was needed, they rented, and that worked out fine, but we do feel we needed more permanent solution.
okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Counselor Labarge.
Yes, Charlene, I want to thank you for the intense documentation about the lift. In reading it today, which Laura had sent to us, it states on it about how we have rented it periodically when needed. And also, I can see where the mayor is looking at moving this forward. It's in dire need. Rental is very expensive. So thank you for this information.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for Director Nardi? Okay, Counselor Kretzler.
Not a question, but I just wanted to say that I spoke to Finance Chair Councilor Maori this afternoon, and she couldn't be present, but she said that based on the information presented, she would feel comfortable waiving the standard referral to either Finance Committee or the consent agenda. She would positively recommend the project.
Thank you for relaying that information, because that's what I was going to put before counselors, because just that. And I appreciate that Counselor Chair Maori, Finance Chair Maori, put that forward. So yes, so that I'm hoping we don't have a motion to refer this committee or to the consent agenda, as that we consider suspending the rules for taking either of those paths and approve this in second reading tonight.
I'd so move.
I
Second.
second that.
Okay, so the motion was made by Counselor Elkins, seconded by Counselor Moulton, and Counselor Labarge. They beat you to the punch, so I saw your hand though.
That's all right. That's all right. Doesn't make any difference.
So it's a motion to suspend the rule, correct, Counselor Elkins?
Correct.
Okay, and so to suspend the rule and vote on this tonight. Any discussion on suspension of the rules?
Mhm.
Laura, roll call, please.
Councilor Elkins,
Yes.
Councilor Foster,
Yes.
Councilor Gore,
Yes.
Councilor Labarge,
Yes.
Councilor Moulton,
Yes,
Councilor Nash,
Yes.
and Councilor Perry.
Yes.
Okay, the rule has been suspended, and we can now, I will now entertain a motion to approve this financial order.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Labarge and seconded by Counselor Perry to approve 22.139. Any discussion? Hearing none. Laura, roll call, please.
Councilor Foster,
Yes.
Councilor Gore,
Yes.
Councilor Labarge,
Yes.
Councilor Moulton,
yes,
Councilor Nash,
Yes.
Councilor Perry,
Yes.
and Councilor Elkins.
Yes.
Okay, that order has been approved. The other order before us is 22.140, in order to reprogram funds to upgrade ventilation in DPW offices. Director Nardi, do you want to speak to this?
Yes. So again, this was a project that you approved back in March as part of the capital improvement program. There is no ventilation in the DPW offices. Director McCarthy is expecting bids to come into this project very soon. The quote was $95,000. That was back in the fall of 2021. And he expects with all the projects that they're seeing that there will be a significant increase in what was quoted back then. So he wanted to be prepared because this as well needs to move forward. This project includes the removing of all the ceiling tiles. I don't know when you toured it, whether Director LaScalia spoke about this, but all the ceiling has to come down, and that includes everything that may be up there, which means everything needs to be covered. Employees need to be moved out, but it was discovered that during COVID that this building did not provide adequate ventilation for not only the employees, but the many people that visit that building to help make the decisions and do the work of the city. So Director McCarthy, and looking at the budgets that we have out there, is thinking that the municipal building, the boiler, could last another year, and that again, to use what's already been out there until the city administration is allowed to have a larger conversation of how the impacts of all these, the double of the cost projects are costing the city, is to just reprogram funds. So he thinks the municipal building, the boiler in the municipal building can hold off for one more year.
Okay. Counselor Labarge.
Yes, Sheridan, you're asking for 2 readings on this, correct?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Any other questions on this item? Okay, hearing none, I'm asking for a motion to suspend the rule.
So
Move to
moved.
Suspend.
Okay, so motion made by Counselor Moulton and seconded by Counselor Labarge to suspend the rule. Any discussion on that? Laura, roll call, please, on suspending the rules.
Counselor Gore,
Yes.
Counselor Labarge,
Yes.
Counselor Moulton,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Perry,
Yes.
Counselor Elkins,
Yes.
and Counselor Foster.
Yes.
Okay, the rule has been suspended, and we are now I will now entertain a motion to approve 22.140.
Move approval.
Second it.
Okay, a motion made by Counselor Foster, seconded by Counselor Labarge. Any discussion? Well, I just want to say from our tour and from frequent visits to that building, that people work in very tight quarters, and that COVID has shown us that better ventilation is needed. And I would think at a building like that, this is a great place to start.
Yep.
So I'll be voting yes. Okay, any more discussion? Seeing none, Laura, roll call, please.
Counselor Labarge,
Yes.
Counselor Moulton,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Perry,
Yes.
Counselor Elkins,
Yes.
Counselor Foster,
Yes.
and Counselor Gore.
Yes.
Okay, 22.140 has passed. Both these, we've dealt with both financial orders here, and since we're trying to set a record for the shortest meeting, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Counselor Perry and I think seconded by Counselor Elkins. Okay, no discussion on adjournment. Laura, roll call, please.
Counselor Moulton,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Perry,
Yes.
Counselor Elkins,
Yes.
Counselor Foster,
Yes.
Counselor Gore,
Yes.
and Counselor Labarge.
Yes.
Okay, we are adjourned. Laura was correct.
Made it.
She said